to get some information about your company, and that the process, also the application process, is also centralized. That's great also to know, because that makes it easier for us in the future as well for the processing of application. You mentioned that you have a colleague who's responsible for Germany. So you're already aware, I would say, I would assume, that the requirements and Germany in general as a study destination. So that also helps us in providing you with the information that you need for this training. I will share my screen. Just give me a second. To see my screen, I think you can just.
Yep, we see it. Thanks.
Perfect. Okay, great. So thank you everyone for joining. My name is Lauriane. I'm a student advisor here at BIC, and I typically help students here with administrative procedures, but I'm also responsible for agency cooperation, and this is why we have the training today, to kind of give you information about the programs, the requirements, the partnership that we have with universities in Germany, and to answer any question that you might have as well, or that you might want to clarify before you start advising students about the BIC programs. So I'm sure you're already familiar. You have someone responsible for Germany as a study destination. So you will know that depending on a student's school qualification, school certificate, they have different possibilities of entry to study in Germany. We have students who do not qualify to study in Germany at all. So we say that they don't have entry. There are students who qualify for direct entry, which means that they can enter a German university without doing another programs beforehand. And we have, on the other hand, students who have what we call indirect entry. And those students, they are able to study in Germany, but before entering a German university, they will have to complete a student colleague program. And so this is what we offer at BIC. So we focus solely on students who have indirect entry. And I can mention later on, I can show you a very useful tool which allows you to select the profile of a student and see what the possibilities of admissions are for the student depending on the profile. So Germany as a study destination, we like to have this information because maybe
Laurel,
not.
if someone is waiting in the waiting room, if you could just admit those.
Yes, of course. Yeah, thank you for letting me know. So Germany as a study destination, we like to have this information because not everybody knows about Germany as a study destination. They might not be aware that they have the possibility of studying in Germany and what the advantages are for this student coming to Germany. So we like to have three categories. The first one being the quality of education for lower costs. So whether it's public or private universities here in Germany, usually they have either no tuition fee or lower tuition fees than in other countries, other popular countries for international studies. I'm thinking the US, the UK, Canada. Usually those universities have much higher tuition fees, and so this is why Germany is interesting for students who might not be able to afford to study over there. And on the other hand, Germany has also high quality education, especially in the technical field, for instance. So students can get good quality education for a lower cost. Germany also offers a lot of future opportunities, life opportunities, work opportunities. They can work part-time during their studies. There's also the 18-month job seeking visa. So after finishing their studies, they have 18 months to find a job related to their studies. They don't have to leave the country right away. So that's a big plus for those students because they have the opportunity to find a job and apply to this job what they learned in their degrees. And the German job market is also very attractive, especially in the technical field, but also the business field. There's a lot of opportunities for international students, so they have those possibilities after finishing their studies. And finally, the location and the environment. We have a lot of international students here in Germany, in Berlin, when they join BIC, but also at our partner universities. They have a lot of international students. They have an international students community. So students won't be alone. They will be able to meet new people, to find people who are going through the same process. And as a side note as well, Germany is very centrally located, so um, they have the possibility to travel once they have their visa for Germany. They can also travel to other Schengen countries. We have a lot of students who visit other neighboring countries during the school break, university break, so they have this opportunity as well. I'll send you the presentation afterwards, so you will have all of this information as well. And if there's any additional question, you can always write to us. I didn't mention in the beginning, but if you have any questions throughout the presentation, please let me know. Yes, I'm here to give you the information, but it's also best if it's interactive. So please don't hesitate. I'd be happy to answer the question. And if I know it's coming up in the next slide, then I can just come up to that slide. That's no problem. So what about BIC? You presented your company, so now it's my turn. So BIC has been welcoming international students for 13 years now. We have sent more than 550 students to German universities, whether that's for German taught programs or English taught programs. So we have a lot of experience. We have a lot of students who went through the process. And so we are very capable of helping new students come into Germany. We're very international as well. It's not just in the name, it's also in our team. So the staff team, I myself am from France, but we also have staff from Germany, from the US, from Russia, from Brazil, Croatia, and the teachers as well are very international are very international. We have from the UK, Germany, India, Iran. So we're very international, and that also helps us support the students. We know what it's like to come to Germany, to go through the process of settling in a new city in Germany. And so that does help us relate and support the student the best way that we can. Why choose BIC then for the students? What does BIC offer that is good for the students? So first of all, we provide a conditional offer letter for all students enrolling at BIC. This means that we have partner universities that we work with, and if a student qualifies for the student colleague and gets admission to BIC, they will also receive conditional admission to one of our partner universities, which means that their effort will pay off. If they pass the program, if they pass BAC, they will get guaranteed admission to a German university. So they have that guarantee. We don't just offer the student colleague, we also offer the follow-up at the university, and we help the student as well move to the university. We don't have an entrance examination. We believe that every student should get a chance as long as they qualify according to the German government requirements. That doesn't mean that they don't have to study, of course. We do have we do uphold academic standards, but the examination takes place at the end of the program. So if they qualify for the student colleague, they get a chance to join, they get a chance to attend the classes, do the work, attend the assessment, and they write the final examination at the end. And this is what determines if they will be able to follow and continue their studies at the university. And finally, we have programs both taught in German as well as in English. So in certain cases, the German language is optional. They don't necessarily need the German language to join BIC, depending on the program that they choose. And if they do choose to join for the German taught programs, then they only need the basic level before joining BIC, because we also provide German language classes here at BIC.
Lorian, there's a question in the chat. You might take a look at.
Yes, I can say thank you, Anne, for the information. Does the student have to show the blocked account again while transitioning from BIC to the partner university? That will depend on the university that they're going to and on the immigration office relevant to that university. I can come back to that question once we go over the partner universities that we have, because this is very specific about the visa and the residence permit. But I will definitely come back to that question towards the end of the presentation, once we go over the partner universities as well. So before we go into the requirements, the general requirements for students to join BIC, I would like to just show the program options that we have. So we have a technical course for technical studies, engineering, IT, and it's available in English and in German language. And we also have a business course, so for business studies, and available as well in English and in German. And finally, we also have a master prep program. This one is a bit more specific. It's German taught, and this is meant for students who want to go for master's degrees in Germany, but also bachelor students who have direct entry. So this is why I mentioned in the beginning as well that there's different possibilities of admission because it's a more specific programs. If you have any specific question regarding the master prep, I'd be happy to answer them. But right now I would like to focus first on the bachelor prep program. So for bachelor students who are going for bachelor studies here in Germany. So the general requirements, as I mentioned, we base ourselves off of the German government requirements, and this is individually assessed depending on the school certificate, the final school certificate of the student. So this is very individual. And so that's why we don't have one general requirement. Typically, we could say usually final school certificate with at least 50% of the overall possible points achieved, but this will vary country to country, certificate to certificate. But you're located in India, so we can easily show you the requirements. So I put in the presentation this database, this link, which contains all the requirements depending on the school certificate. And this one here from the DAAD website is very useful because you can do it live with the student or even after receiving the documents from a potential student. You can easily select different options, and at the end it gives you the possibility of admission. So in this case, if we take India, right, And then we have to select the type of school leaving qualification. So typically they have 12 years of secondary school, so the 12th certificate. And here we can see that we have to select the grade achieved. So a student with more than 50% of overall possible points achieved. And here they also ask us if the student has already studied at a university in India. So if the student just finished the 12th, they haven't studied yet, we can see here that the result is that they qualify for the preparatory course, so they qualify for the student colleague. So in the case of Indian students, typically, if they have finished their 12th certificate, it doesn't matter which board of education it is. So if it's the Gujarat board or if it's the Central Board of Education, it's or the National Institute of Open Schooling, that also works. As long as they have at least 50% of possible points achieved, they will qualify for the student colleague. So this is really useful if you also get profiles from other countries or other nationalities. It can happen. You can use this website to check the qualification and the requirements. So this is something that I like to show live, so you can see, and you can do it with a student as well. And then we also have the language requirements, and these depend on the choice of programs. So for the English taught programs, the minimum requirements is the B2 level in English, and you can see which certificate we accept as well. We typically accept what is accepted by the embassy, so that we avoid any issues in terms of visa application. So Cambridge assessment, IELTS and TOEFL. And we don't accept medium of instruction or online-based test. I'm thinking specifically the TOEFL home edition. This is not accepted by the embassy, and so this is not accepted by BIC in terms of language certificate. So this is for the English taught programs, and then for the German taught program, the minimum requirements is A2 level, and we have also German language classes. So students who have at least A2 can join the program, and then depending on what their highest level of German is, they can join the specific language classes, German language classes that they need.
Again, there are some questions in the chat, Lorian.
Yes. APS and test AS required for admission. So yes, that's a very good question. So the APS certificate, it will be required at the latest for the visa application. And then depending on the choice of partner university and the choice of study degree after BIC, we can either process without the APS or only with the APS. So the answer is yes and no. For some study degrees and some universities, we can process the application without the APS certificate. And with other universities, we will require the APS certificate. And so this is something that I can mention again once I go over the partner universities, and I can also send you the information later on per email, because it depends basically whether that's required or not for the BIC application. But I will go into more details once we go over the partner universities and study degrees available. And for the test AS, it also depends. Most of the time, it's not required for the application at BIC. At the latest, it would be required for one study degree at the time of enrollment at the university. So it's not a requirement, so to say, for the application itself. But it might be required later on in the program once the student is already enrolled. So to summarize, the APS, is it required for the BIC application? Yes and no, it depends on the study degree chosen. And the test AS, no, it's not required at the time of application, but it might be required later on in the program at the time of enrollment in the university, depending on the study degree. So it's not a straightforward answer, but again, I can provide the information later on per email, the specific information. And once you submit an application, or if you have the profile of a student, you can send that to us before applying. And one of our team members will let you know if you ask, oh, we have a profile of a student, he wants to go for this university and this study degree. We can let you know specifically which documents will be required for the application before you submit the application with us. Yeah, we have team members that can provide specific information per profile as well. And I want to add regarding the APS and the test AS. So the APS, like I said, will be required at the latest for the visa application. And we have information from last month from the APS office that they don't require the test AS result in order to apply for the APS. So as of now, students can still apply for the APS without having test AS results. And this is coming directly from the APS office, from information we received last month. Okay, see more questions. Partner universities that they can get admission. I will come to those questions very soon. So hang in there. I will come to that. And then apply for conditional offer letter in BIC if language exam is not given. Yes. For the English taught programs, students can usually apply to BAC even if they don't have their language certificate already. So we can usually process the application if they don't have a language certificate yet, but they need to submit it as soon as possible. And we do recommend that they do that as soon as possible because it will be required for the visa application. So once they know that they want to study in Germany for the English taught programs, they should make sure that they book an appointment to take an English language test as soon as possible to make sure that there is no delay with the visa application. For the German taught programs, we usually need the German language certificate beforehand because it's more specific and we need to process the application. So the programs at BIC and what you also want to know about the partner universities. So first, our bachelor prep program, German. So this program contains German language classes, as well as the subject courses for the specific path of the program. So they will have German language classes from B1 to C1. That's if they have A2 level. If they already have B1, then they can join the program starting from the B2 language classes. This is why you will see that the start date and the tuition fee may vary because it depends on the German language level that the students start with. A student that only has A2 will need to do more German language classes than a student who has B2 or even C1 level. And then they have those German language classes, and then they will either have the technical subject courses or the business subject courses. So you can see on my screen the different subjects that they have for each program. And for the universities, so like I mentioned, we have both private and public universities that you can see here, and we have different study degrees. So these are study degrees available after the technical program. These are not all the study degrees available. These are just a few examples. The advantage of studying in German language is that they have more options. There are way more study degrees taught in Germany. It is logical, and so they have more options. They have more choice of study degrees. I'm thinking specifically computer science, information security, those IT study degrees which are highly demanded. Those are available in German language and not yet available in English language. So this is really something, if you have a student who's not sure about studying in English or German, but they really want to study computer science, then it's good to mention that they have this option in German, and it's a good investment to learn the German language because they have more option, and it will also help them in the future in their academic careers here in Germany if they learn the language, if they study in German. It looks good on their resume later on as well to get a job in Germany or in a German company across the world. There's a lot of German companies that have offices in different countries. So yeah, it's a good thing for them to learn German. You have the full list available in the on our website, and I can also send you our agency booklet, which has the each study degree is available and the corresponding university program and program at BIC and language of instruction. I see we have a question here as well. All partner institute or public institute? Not all of them. Like I mentioned, we have some private universities as well, and public universities. The semester tax for public university varies. Usually, it's between 100 and 500 euros per semester. So for 6 months, and then for the private universities. I think the amount is for the entire program is about 23,000. So that's for 3.5 years, 4-year program. So this is regarding the semester tax or tuition fee at the partner universities. These are the programs for the business German taught program here at BIC. So we have different options as well. Business analytics, business psychology. Again, these are the business program would be a good fit for students who completed their 12th from the commerce background. They would do well in a business taught business program for international business marketing study degree. Any question regarding the German taught programs? Anything not clear? All right. Again, if questions come up later after the end of the meeting, you can also just write to us, and we'd be happy to provide additional information. The Bachelor Prep program English. So this is our English taught program. It's very similar to the program in German. The only thing is that it doesn't have German language classes. So it's only the subject courses for the specific type of program that they should choose. So again, technical or business program. The program starts every year in December. So for the next intake, the start date is December 1st, and it usually lasts about 8 months of classes, and then 1 month we have a final examination. So if I take the example of the current program, which is running, they started towards the end of November 2024. Right now they will finish their classes in June, and then in July they will have the final examination. And if they pass the final examination, they are usually finished by the beginning of August, and they will move to the university if they pass for the winter semester of the university. So typically it starts in October. So they start in December at BIC, and then the following October, less than a year later, they start at the university if they pass the program. And the university admission, so if they complete the BIC examination, you can see as well our partner universities. So we have, again, public or private universities, depending on the choice of study degree. Right, so these are the study degrees available for the technical program. And you were asking about the APS certificate, whether that's a requirement for the BIC application. So if a student applies at BIC and they select that they want to later on study at the Technical University of Applied Sciences Würzburg-Schweinfurt, we say THWS for short. If they apply for one of these study programs, in that case, we usually don't need the APS certificate in order to process the application at BIC. However, if they apply for any other partner universities, then we would usually need the APS certificate before processing the application. So this is why I mentioned that it was not a straightforward answer. It really depends on the partner university. So we have different study degrees available. The most popular that we see at the moment, I would say, is mechatronics. We are sending a lot of students to mechatronics, but as also robotics. So these are two of the most popular study degrees, but again, they have option depending on what they prefer. Some students prefer to have a mix of business and engineering. So we have logistics, business and engineering, even international business and technology. So it really depends on the choice of the student. This is up to them and what they want to study, what they want for their academic and then professional career in after their studies. And for the business program, so this is a brand new program that we're offering for the next intake. And like I said, the business program is a really good fit for students who come from the commerce background because they will have then business classes, like you can see here, business administration, economics, and they have a mix of both. So it's a really great fit for students coming from the commerce background. So typically they studied statistics, I think, in the 12th, statistics, economics. So that's a good program for them. Right. So to come back to the question about the blocked account, if they need to show it after transitioning to the partner universities. This will really depend on the immigration office. So I cannot speak for all immigration offices in Germany. We do help the students whose visa is expiring during the program at BIC. We help them apply for the residence permit. In that case, they usually need to show their initial blocked account, even if it's a few months after they arrive in Germany, that's no problem. Once they transition to the partner university, it will depend. Usually we know that in Schweinfurt, so for the university, the THWS, we know that the immigration office in Schweinfurt usually requires the blocked account every time that they apply for the residence permit there. So this is something to keep in mind for the student. They might need to refill their blocked account as they move to the university and every time that they apply for the residence permit or to renew their residence permit. I mean, it's the same as they need to be able to finance their studies anywhere, and it's usually the requirement for the blocked account is around 12,000 for a year. So they need to keep that in mind that they might need to have that amount in a blocked account every year in order to apply for the residence permit. I cannot speak for every immigration office in Germany, but I would say it's important to inform the student that they will need to be able to finance each year for their studies. Any question about the German English talk program? Application fees. Yes, I will come to the application process in a little bit. If there's no question about the English talk program, then we can move on with the application process as well. Right. So the application process takes place entirely online. So as I mentioned earlier, before you apply for a student, if you have a doubt or you want to double check, the documents that are required, you can send us an email with the profile of the student and which study degree they want to apply for. And we can provide an official assessment. Okay, we think the student would have admission to the Studienkolleg. This is usually easy for us to tell in terms of Indian students, because we have a lot of Indian students here at BIC, and so we're very familiar with the documents from the Indian schools. So you can, of course, send us a message, and then we can tell you, okay, for this specific study degree, the student will need to upload these and these documents. Yes, the email ID will be in the presentation, which I will send after we finish the meeting, so you will have all the information. So once you have all the documents from the student, you can apply online through our website. So when you go on our website, you can click on Apply Online, and you will have a short description of the process, as well as the usual documents which are required. And you can even also on our website find our email address. So it's over here, but if you click here, you can also contact us. And you also have the application terms and refund policies. If this is asked by the students, you can also find them on the website. Once you have everything, you can click on Start Application, and you will be redirected to our application platform. The very first step of the application is to enter the information of the student: first name, last name, gender, and then email address. The email address is especially important because you will receive an activation email to this email address. And you will need to activate the account before proceeding with the application process. Sometimes the emails can land in the spam folder. So if you don't receive it or you don't see it in your mailbox, make sure to double check in the spam folder. And if you find it there, take it out so that you can click on the link and continue with the application. If you go in the spam folder and you still don't find it, then please contact us, and our team will help go with the further process. Once you have activated the account, you will be able to log in with the data and proceed with the application. During the application process, you will upload the necessary document: passport, school certificate, language certificate if it's available, APS certificate. And the students will also need to select which study degree and which university they want to study at after finishing BIC. This is so that we can provide the conditional offer letter for the student. We know that sometimes students change their mind. Maybe they decide to go for mechatronics. I realized that I was in the wrong, I wasn't sharing the right screen. So this is what I meant. On the website, you have the application. You click on Start Application, and this is where you will enter the information from the student. Sorry about that. And so, as I was saying, if the student change their mind during the program, we know it happens. Sometimes students apply for mechatronics and then maybe they want to change to robotics. That's usually possible. We try to accommodate for that. So even though they have to select the program at the time of application, they usually have the option to change their minds and go for another study degree as long as it's the same field of study. And then for you as agency during the application process, there will also be a section about the first contact from the student. So if you are applying for a student, please fill out this section with your agency name and your agency contact so that we can track that the student is coming from you. And then you can be copied in the exchange during the application process. Once the student has uploaded, once you have uploaded all the documents, you fill out all the information, we do have an application fee. It's 195 euros for the application fee, and it can be paid via PayPal directly online, or it can be paid via bank transfer. If you pay via bank transfer, make sure that the student name, the full student name is available so that we can track the payment, we can see the payment and assign it to the right student. If the student name is not there, it becomes really complicated for us. So make sure that the full student name is available. Once we get confirmation of the payment from our financial department, my colleague from admission will start processing the application. And if there's anything missing, if there's any additional information that we require, he will contact you and let you know the documents that are needed. If everything is in order, he will process the application and you get an update every time there's a change in the application. So once we send the application to the partner university, you will get an email update. If there's any update, you will receive an email. Until you receive the admission documents with all the documents for to enroll and to later apply for the visa. Statement of purpose or letter of required for the application. It will depend on the study degree. So most study degree at the partner universities do not require a statement of purpose, but there is one or two study degrees where the student does have to submit a statement of purpose, a letter of motivation. So again, I can send you that information for the specific study degrees that require a statement of purpose, but in most cases, we only require the academic documents, passport copy, and language certificate, and APS if needed. So yeah, in most cases, no statement of purpose is required. Any question regarding the application process? Presentation, we also have here some information for the student or for the parents. We know that's also really important. Yes, the students will be the ones studying in Germany, but we know that parents also have a lot of say in that decision, and they want to have all the information. They want to know what other students, former students, have been saying about BIC. So we have here a few testimonials. What is really nice about doing this for 13 years now is that we've had students who did the program at BIC, went to the university, and then a few years later, their younger siblings also joined BIC. So that's something that's really nice. We have a strong alumni community. We have sent a lot of students to partner universities. So the students who come, the new students who come, they will not be alone. They will find a lot of students who can give them information about the university, about BIC. We definitely have a lot of former students who would be happy to help incoming students. So yeah, this is why we like to have those information. We know how important it is for the decision to make the decision about studying in Germany. And then a few pictures, of course, of activities that we have with the student. Yes, they come here to study, but we also like to introduce them to German culture and different German visits that we do here in Berlin. Typically, we went to the Parliament, but we also go to the Christmas market because the program starts in December. So that's a great time and a great first activity for them to get to know each other, get to know us, and get to know Berlin. And then we also try to have activities relating to their studies. So we have some teachers who do some conference about, we have one this afternoon, I think, about artificial intelligence. We had one about space as well a couple of weeks ago. So we try to have extracurricular activities as well for the student so that they can get to know each other, get to know Berlin, get to know Germany during their time at BIC. And someone was asking about the contact details. So you have here our email address as well as our mobile phone number. So if you have a profile of a student or if you have a question, this would be the email address that you use. Depending on your inquiry, the relevant team member will come back to you. So if you have a question about the cooperation itself, then I would be the one answering. But if you have a question about the application that's already been submitted, my colleague from admission would answer, or if it's a question about a potential student, then my colleague who handles potential applicants would answer that specific email. So this would be the one that you use to contact us. Any additional question regarding the program or Berlin, Germany, that we can answer, something that comes up when you advise students and parents?
Ma'am, how many intakes are there basically?
For each program, currently we have one intake a year. The reason for that is the start at the university is in the winter semester, usually, so in October. And so we need to ensure that we have enough time to complete the program. So if I take the example of the English Start program, it's around 8 months of classes and then one extra month for the final examination. So that only works if we start early enough. If we started, if we had a second intake in, let's say, in April, they would finish in December, January, and then they would have too long of a gap between finishing BIC and starting at the university because the university study degrees currently only start in the winter semester. So currently only one intake per year, starting in December. What we do have as well, something that we have since the pandemic, we do offer if the student applies late or they have an issue with the visa and it takes more time than expected, we do have the possibility of starting in online classes temporarily until they receive the visa and can switch to on-site classes in Berlin once they receive the visa. So we only have one intake, but we do have that small flexibility in terms of starting in online classes.
Ma'am, any application deadline that when we can submit it?
The application deadline is currently is November 1st. So because we have this flexibility, we can have a later application deadline because they can apply. We know sometimes students make a late decision or they didn't know that they could study in Germany, that this was a possibility. So we do have that flexibility. So currently November 1st for the application deadline.
Ma'am, I'm having a query about the gap criteria that if any of the students' 12th standard is completed in 2020 and now if he or she wants to join BIC, so is it possible?
Yes, it's possible. So we will also accept students who have completed their final school certificate a few years ago. All that they need to know is that if they haven't studied the subject in a few years, that they might want to refresh before joining BIC, but we also start from the basics as well here in the program. So yes, they can still apply, they can still join even if they finished a couple of years ago.
Okay. And open schooling board is accepted or not?
Yes, open schooling board. So the NIOS is also accepted. Again, if it's the 12th certificate, no matter which board, and if they have at least 50% of possible points achieved, they usually will qualify for the student colleague for BIC.
And ma'am, one more question, like as it is the pathway program, so will the student be eligible to work part-time during the 8 months of course?
Yes, they can work part-time. The law changed last year in 2024 in March. And so now it allows students in the student colleague in the pathway program to study part-time, the same as university students. And it's up to 140 days a year or 280 half days a year. This is usually around max 20 hours a week. So it's a possibility. We usually don't always recommend it, especially in the foundation year, in the student colleague year, because they already have to adapt to a big change. They're coming to a new country, and so they will have to study a lot as well. They have around I think they have classes from Monday to Friday, usually from 9 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. So they have a lot of classes, and they have to prioritize their studies before working. But if after a few months they want to work, then they do have the possibility.
Ma'am, and one last question about the visa, that if any student is going for BIC, then they have to submit their visa filing in the VFS or they have to directly contact the consulate?
They have now to use the consular services portal, which has been open since February, so they should submit the application over there. They have to fill out a form. We provide some information for the students and for agents as well on how to fill out the form on the consular service portal. They then have to, so they have to fill out this form. They have to fill out the, I think the VDEX form as well on the portal, and then they have to upload the documents. And once everything has been checked, they will be informed once they can book an appointment. And usually, students who go for the student colleague for the foundation year, the appointment will be booked now, not at VFS, but at the consulate directly, so the Mumbai consulate for the category preparatory course. Yeah, preparatory course.
Team, do you have any other questions?
Any difficult question in the chat either. If it comes up later, you can of course contact us. I will send you the presentation, which also has, I was seeing the questions about the links. All the links were in the presentation as well. So I will send that to you, as well as our agency booklet, and you can share it with the team. And if there's any additional question, then our contact details are also available, and you can come back to us per email or per mobile phone.
Ma'am, one last question, that in the first slide you have mentioned that you are offering conditional offer letters from the public university, right? So just a scenario that I'm applying to BIC. So at the same time, I will be having a conditional offer letter from your partner university that once I will complete my 8 months through BIC, I'm eligible to start my studies over there. Is that so, or is there any other thing that I have to clear the BIC examinations and then only I will be get into that?
They have to clear the BIC examination. So this is why I mentioned in the beginning, we don't have entrance exams, but we have a final examination. So that's why the admission letter is only conditional. It's conditional because they have to pass the examination at BIC. Once they pass the exam at BIC, they will complete the application process with the university. It's just a formality, and we help the students with that. And once they pass BIC, they upload their BIC certificate, and they will receive only then the unconditional admission to the university. So they do have to pass the final examination, yes.
And ma'am, I have received the agency booklet, so I have gone through that. So there is a page where the partner universities are listed and the courses, right? So I just wanted to know that student can choose any of that or the university will provide that.
What do you mean exactly? Will the university provide?
In the agency booklet, there are the business courses also, there are engineering study courses. Like, suppose I am for the business course, right?
Mhm.
And I want to go for English taught programs. So, in the booklet, there is one university, SWF, which is
Mhm.
providing in the English course, and there is another university also, THWS, which is providing the logistic course. So,
Mhm.
do I have to select that which course and which university I want?
Yes, so in the application process, students they apply to BIC, but they also select the university and study degree that they want to do after BIC. And this is so that we can provide the conditional offer letter that they can also use then to apply for the visa. So they do have to select that at the time of the BIC application, and they apply for a specific BIC program. So if a student is applying for the business program taught in English, as you were mentioning, then they will only be able to select the business study degrees related to that BIC program. They will not see the technical study degrees. So this is really well done in the application process. They can only select what is available to them after that specific BIC program. But again, we know sometimes students change their mind during the program. So yes, they have to make a choice, but it's not necessarily the final choice. They usually have the possibility of changing after finishing or during the program at BIC.
Okay, that is very clear, ma'am. So thank you for the training session. So this is the email ID that we have to connect if we are having any profile evaluation, right?
Yes. We all of our team members have access to that email ID, and depending on your inquiry, it will be transferred to the right person who will answer. Usually within 2-3 business days, you will get an answer from one of our team members.
Okay, ma'am. Do you have any WhatsApp number that we can connect you on? Like
Yes,
for
this is the WhatsApp number is right below. So this is something that you can also use. If you are sending documents, please send them per email. This is easier for us to process. And as well, in terms of data protection, it's better protected per email rather than WhatsApp. But if there's any urgent inquiry or short question, then you can of course use the WhatsApp number.
Okay, ma'am. Sure. So if we will be having any queries, we will be connecting you on WhatsApp or on email.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for your time also, ma'am. The session was very great.
Great. Then I'm glad to hear that. And again, any additional question, you can connect with us, and we'd be happy to provide some more information. You can also create a WhatsApp group with all the advisor if you want. And then if there's a question, we can answer everyone, and then everyone has the information, whichever you prefer.
Sure, ma'am. So I will do one thing. I will create one WhatsApp group with BIC and I will add this number. So if any of my team member will have any doubt, they will connect you on the group on.
Yeah, great.
Yeah. And ma'am, we can get this presentation on mail, right?
Yes, I'll send it to you per email after our meeting.
All right, ma'am. Thank you so much for your time, ma'am.
Thank you so much as well for joining. Looking forward to the cooperation. Have a great day.
Thank you, ma'am.